my name is Stephanie and I'm a Pilates instructor here at Down Under Yoga. I am a runner. I started running when I was in grad school as a way to just de-stress and just explore the outdoors and just take my mind off things. And I run anything from a 5K to a half marathon. And I just love racing and training for it. I'm going to talk to you today about how I use Pilates to complement my running. In Pilates, a lot of what everybody thinks about is about core, which is the most important principle of it all, but there are other Pilates principles that I focus on when I do my running. And so those Pilates principles are breath, control, and concentration. And so I'm going to show you a few exercises where I use those Pilates principles and how I translate them into my running. The first Pilates mat exercise I'm going to show you today is the 100, which is a traditional mat exercise where you're lying on your back and your chest and your legs are lifted. You have your arms also lifted while your chest is lifted, and you're pumping your arms for a total of 100 times. You're also breathing in and out. You're breathing in for 5 counts and breathing out for 5 counts. And you do that for a total of 10 times, which equals 100, which is why it's called the 100. You can think about the 100 when you run by trying to match your steps with the breath. If you think about it, for every 5 steps that you run, you take an inhale, and for every 5 steps that you run, you take an exhale. The second exercise that I'm going to show you is called the single leg circle. And so this exercise starts off lying on your back, and you have one leg long and the other leg lifted up towards the ceiling. The focus of this exercise is hip control, and it exemplifies the principle of control. Our hips are attached to our legs, and so we use our legs when we run. And so trying to gain control of how we move or stabilize our hips is very important in running. So to do this exercise, you want to come lying on your back. Have a nice long back. We're going to start off by extending our left leg on the mat, flexing that foot, and then extending your right leg towards the ceiling. You can do this 2 ways, where you try to keep both hips level and stable on the mat, and you make leg circles. So here you want to circle that straight leg across your midline, down, and then all the way back up. We do that a total of 3 times. One direction, pause, and then reverse the direction. And just like the first Pilates principle that I like to focus on breath, you can inhale as you come down, exhale, come up. And so in the first variation where I kept my hips stable, you can also control your hip by just allowing it to lift when your leg crosses over your midline, and you can allow the other hip to lift as you come out to the side. And here, you want to control the hip just moving side to side, not front or back. I'm going to do the reverse direction. Then you come back in. So in that exercise, I was controlling my hips and really controlling how my back stayed nice and flat. And so when you're running, you can think about how you're moving and controlling your arms, your legs, everything, even your breath, and how to coordinate all that when you're running. I'm going to go through 2 exercises in a series of 5, and that's the single leg stretch and crisscross. In both exercises, you're keeping your chest lifted, and you can have your hands behind your head just to start. In single leg stretch, you're lengthening one leg long and bending the other knee in, and you switch to the other side. And so here for your breath, you can think of just inhaling as you stay on one side and then exhaling as you switch to the other side. And for the second exercise, which is crisscross, which is really good for your obliques, you cross your chest, you keep the single leg stretched legs, and you twist your torso towards that bent knee, keeping your chest lifted. You switch the legs and you switch the chest. So this is really important for running because we are using our obliques to stabilize our spine as we run, and we're also moving our legs as we run. And the last exercise I'm going to show you is not a traditional mat exercise, but I do this on the reformer and you're lying down. I'm going to take it standing up. And it's all about footwork and just mobilizing your feet. I'm someone who was born with flat feet and hypermobile feet, so they just want to go all over the place. And what I like to do is just think about moving my feet. When you run, they're stuck in sneakers and they're just kind of trapped. And so I like to just think about, can I move the muscles in my feet? And so what I'm doing right now on the reformer, there's an exercise called running, very suited for this video, where you're just lifting one heel and lowering the other heel. So from the side, you can see I'm just lifting one heel and the other. So you can just think about doing this flat on the mat, where you're just trying to move through each foot, or you can take this on a step or a yoga block, where you're standing on your toes with your heels suspended, and you want to think about aligning your shoulders, hips, and heels, having a nice long spine. And so you would do the running by bending one knee, straightening out the other, and allowing that other heel to dip. And then you switch. And so you can hold onto the wall to start, or if you need an added challenge, try to balance. And so here you're focusing on stabilizing, using all the muscles in your legs, your glutes, your hips, all the muscles in your torso to stabilize and lift your spine. And so it takes a lot of concentration to coordinate all those things and control all those things. So that brings me back to that third principle of concentration, where really trying to focus all your mental efforts in doing the exercise and translating that as you run. I encourage you to not only practice these exercises to complement your running and also think about these principles as you're running, I encourage you to take more classes, explore the other exercises, and apply the principles that I talked about in your everyday movement. Thank you for moving with me.